this part won't be
This
on.
part
This
will
is not going to be on.
It's
Yeah,
actually
this part
the
is an outtake.
actually,
So,
it's now
yeah,
it's not.
now it's
Now it's funny.
going to be
It's
on.
gonna be on. What's up, guys? We're dreamers, we're moms, and welcome to the Mommy Artist Podcast. Now let's get creatively unhinged. What's up, guys? Today's guest is the definition of a powerhouse creative. Victoria Banks has been called one of the best songwriters in the business by Music Row magazine. And honestly, once you hear the scope of what she's built, the title feels earned in every possible way. She's the writer behind songs recorded by some of the biggest names in music, from Sarah Evans to Reba McEntire to Mikey Guyton, Jessica Simpson, Carly Pearce, and so many more. Her work has landed on Grammy-nominated albums, made Billboard history, been featured on television and film, and even has become a part of a Country Music Hall of Fame exhibit. She's a self-produced artist, a performer, a thought leader in the songwriting space, a creative collaborator for major brands, a podcast host, and an advocate for women in entertainment. She understands both art and the industry, which honestly is such a rare combination. This conversation is about what it means to make a life out of creativity, to keep evolving, to advocate for your own voice, and to stay deeply connected to your artistry while navigating a business that is constantly changing. She's smart, soulful, wildly accomplished, and proof that people behind the songs are often the most interesting artists in the room. Yes, I'm so honored and happy to have you
Oh,
here.
thank you for having
Oh
me.
my gosh, I feel like I am not worthy.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
No, oh my gosh, no. When we were reading your intro or your bio when it first came, I was like, Hannah, I immediately forwarded it to her. I was like, look who we're getting.
Well,
I'm
I
so
need to have you
excited.
rewrite my bio
No,
because that sounded way more amazing than it actually is.
no, because you are so amazing. All of that stuff is so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
And I mean, just so much. And
It's
I mean, you've accomplished a life and you're a mom.
yes.
And that is even such a huge added layer
Yeah.
of responsibility and mind, mental load and
Yeah.
all the
It is.
things.
It's funny. I always get a kick out of the fact that, people want to start their co-writing sessions in Nashville at 11 a.m.
Oh,
And by 11 a.m., I'm like, I'm kind of more than half done my day by 11
right.
a.m.
I know. Yeah,
It's
I've been
like,
up since 6. I've made breakfast for
yes.
how many
It's
kids
like
do
I
you have?
walked 3 miles. It was, I have two kids. They're 8 and 10.
Okay, I
Yeah.
have a 7 and 9.
Oh, awesome. 2 years apart
Yes,
is great. It's
I
hard
know.
at the beginning, but then it
Are they
gets better.
same gender?
Yes, girls. Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
have boy girl, and
Ooh.
right now they are just constantly
Are
fighting.
they?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a struggle.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, but we're a little bit in that stage too, but
Yeah,
it's a love-hate
hopefully it gets
relationship.
better.
Oh,
Anyways, let's get into your
yeah.
story. Okay, where are you from and how'd you get to Nashville?
Well, I'm from Canada, and I grew up
Okay.
in a little house that was heated with just wood in the middle of nowhere in Northern Ontario.
That's cool,
So yeah,
but
it was
maybe
kind
not.
of yeah, it was very unique. It was a unique upbringing. And
Mhm.
my sister and I really didn't have anything to do other than just be creative because we had a television, but it got like two channels and
Right.
they were mostly snow anyway, and there was
Right.
already enough of that going on. So,
Right.
and it was
That's
just,
funny.
yeah. So my dad was a collector of antique phonograph record
Ooh,
machines. And
cool.
so we lived in a house that was like a hoarder house completely full of those, and then a little bit of room for the people to live in between.
Right.
So we listened to those a lot, and he had an old 1914 Model T Ford, and we'd dress up in old period costume and drive around in it and wave at people in our
Mhm.
pioneer outfits. It was just really, we were a weird family,
No, I love it. It
but
sounds like a cool
very
family.
musical family though, and
Yes.
we would
Okay.
sing a lot. We'd sing like four-part harmony Bach around the dinner table kind of thing.
Cool
It was all
though.
it was all very old music. But I went off to school and then I discovered that there was music made post 1940, and I was like, "What is this alchemy? This is amazing." And so I fell in love with the radio. I fell in love with at the time it was a lot of sort of classic rock stuff,
Mhm.
and that had ties and roots to Nashville
Mhm.
in kind of roundabout ways. And so I knew that songwriting just kind of got a hold of my soul when I was in high school, and I started reading all of the notes, the liner notes on everything, and trying to figure out who are these people that are writing the songs, the
Right.
small print names under the big
Right.
ones,
Right.
and where are they, and how do you do that? Because
Mhm.
that's what I want to do. And after a little bit of a sideways step into, I got a degree in zoology from the University of Toronto.
Okay. I love that for you.
It was my attempt to get a real job, which would
Right.
have been great because I love, environmental stuff and zoology. I was
Yes.
specialized in freshwater fish. I was going to do that, and but then the job that was waiting for me after high school just kind of went away. The
Mhm.
unit shut down, and I had a moment of, I guess I can do what I really want to do now,
Mhm.
which is I really want to write songs. And
Right.
everybody's calling me crazy, but I'm going to go to Nashville because that's the place, that's the mecca.
Yeah.
So I came here.
And you did. How old
Yeah.
were you when this all happened?
I was in my early 20s. I had just graduated from college. So
Okay.
I came down here with all the money that I could save up from working a bunch of menial jobs over
Mhm.
the summer. And I knew that I had about 6 months worth
Mhm.
to try and make something happen because I also
Wow.
needed someone to sponsor me for a visa so I could stay. And I couldn't just
Yes.
like go work at Starbucks or something. Like there was no
Right.
way to do that. I had to get sponsored by a publishing company and signed as a staff songwriter in order to stay.
Mhm.
And so luckily, I got an offer about 6 months in, and I had like
Wow.
$20 left, and I was offered the deal. I was like, "Yes, I will do it. I'm staying."
Wow. What
So yeah,
timing.
it was crazy. It was crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And so had you written like like many songs before, or when did like
Mhm.
you first start writing songs, I guess?
Well,
Or like your first full song?
I was always making stuff up as a kid. Like
Mhm.
I'd swing on the swings and just make up things that rhymed and
Right,
sing
right.
them. It was just constantly that.
So it's like
But
innately in you,
yeah,
naturally.
yeah. But I started probably writing songs when I was in elementary school, like
Oh,
sixth, seventh grade.
so super young still
Yeah,
though.
pretty young. And then I started to write and record songs with a band after that in high school. And so I was really into it.
Can
But
you write music as well?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I would kind of write it out in my own weird, code, which now I use the Nashville number system, which is another kind of code.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
cool.
yeah,
I don't
but
even know what
it's
that is. What?
yeah, it's like everything's in numbers on the charts.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's yeah, you don't really even have to know how to read music necessarily in order to be a songwriter here.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, but that was my first somebody opened the door and I walked in and here I am. I'm still doing it. I don't know how. It's
That
been like
seemed
almost 30 years
Oh
since
my
then.
gosh, that first of all, there's no way you're that old.
It's yes.
Second of all second of all, that seems to be a common theme with my Nashville artists I've interviewed so far. It's like doors opening, making connections with
Yeah.
people, other people helping people. It seems like a very
Yeah.
helpful community.
In Nashville, in this industry, it has traditionally been a very male heavy industry.
Mhm.
And there has been like the old boys network. And it's
Right.
not like a calculated thing. It's not we're only going to help the men.
Right.
But it's like there are so many men and they naturally hang out with other men and that's who they help,
Mhm.
you know? And so I think we've kind of figured out over the years as women, we got to stick together,
Mhm.
we got to help each other out. So there's a lot of thought put into that. There's a lot of energy put into that. It's
I
like
love
if you
that.
get an opportunity, let's bring somebody else into that, and be thoughtful about who that's going to be.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I
I love
really
it.
love that, and
Yeah,
thankful for that. It
yeah,
benefited me today,
yes.
so I love that. So basically what you're telling me is you've always been cool because you grew up in like this cool wood burning Canadian home,
Yeah.
dancing around in outfits, to zoology degree studying fish,
Yes.
to not working out. So probably Nashville is where I'm going to go. To I only have 6 months to get a visa, got one right when I needed it, and then you blew up.
Yeah,
Your career like blew up,
it's
girl.
fun. It didn't feel like it blew up. It's funny, when I first signed my publishing deal, I think it was one of those situations where you have a goal in mind, and that was my goal. I wanted to get a deal, and then you get the deal, and then all of a sudden you're looking around and you're like, "Oh crap."
Mm,
Like I wasn't prepared for what actually comes next,
right.
which is in this job going to work 5 days a week and writing a song a day and sometimes 2 and occasionally 3.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like you go, 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 and you write so much, and there are people waiting downstairs in your building for whatever you're gonna
Oh,
write today.
wow.
So the pressure is on at that point. So that was tough because it's a very collaborative town in Nashville,
Mhm,
and I hadn't done a whole lot of collaboration
mhm,
at that point. I'd been writing alone. I'd done a little bit of it, but I was terrible at it. I was very insecure about my own process, didn't
mhm.
know how to share my thoughts
Right,
externally, just
right.
really and so I really didn't do well in the co-writes that they set me up on. And
Mhm,
it ended up that I was just encouraged to write alone for the first 6 or so years of my career, which is unusual, but also, I mean, it was a great opportunity to learn how to write,
mhm.
but it was also, I was like the dog in the yard. After those 6 years, I had, here's my hole that I've dug around the same
Yes,
thing.
yes,
It's
and you're
like
like,
this.
"You want me to
Oh my
change,"
gosh,
and
yeah. All you have is your own abilities, right? It's
mhm,
like, I know how to play these chords, I tend towards these melodies, so I kinda got a little bit stuck in that, and then I had to really force myself out of my comfort zone to learn how to co-write with other people.
mhm.
So,
Makes sense.
yeah.
Now is it all country music?
Yeah, it's mostly country. Sometimes I'll write for, film and television
Right.
opportunities, or there are artists from all different genres now that come to town and want to write with the songwriters
That's
here. So
cool.
it's kind of fun. You learn all the different genres, and a lot of the same rules of commercial songwriting work for anything.
Mhm,
So you just get in the room with different artists, and that's kind of been what I've learned how to do at this point, is
mhm.
like go in with an artist and a producer and figure out how to make whatever the artist wants to write, or whatever your idea is that the artist resonates with, how to make that into something that's going to be really
Come
marketable.
to life.
Yeah.
Yes, Mark Roll. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's a
Yeah.
great way of explaining that.
Yeah.
Was there a moment when you were like, "Oh shit, I'm really good at this," or like, "I'm really doing
No,
this"?
0, zip, zilch, no.
Come on.
No. No, still no. It
Stop.
feels it so
Do you want
song
do you want me to read you the thing again?
It's, I mean, you're doing something when you're being creative, this is like you're being creative.
You're just
You
being
don't
yourself.
know where it's coming from,
Right.
right? So it's a trust fall.
Mhm,
Every time you do it, it's a
mhm.
trust fall. It's like, are you there? Are you gonna catch me? Because here we go. I'm gonna just dare to suck right now. We'll see what happens. But you can walk into such pressure filled situations,
Mhm.
especially when you're collaborating with people you really admire.
Right.
And it's like, here you go into this room. Better think of something, you
Oh,
know?
but then you get the accolades after, and
Yeah.
you sure oh,
But
sorry, I
you know
just
what
almost
happens?
chopped
You
you.
get the accolades and you go, yay, for one night. And the next morning you wake up and go, oh, now what am I gonna do?
True.
you know?
True.
So it's always like this, there's this deep insecurity I think most of us have, that's like, oh gosh, I'm just kind of balancing on this pinpoint here and trying to hope that I can continue to do
Listen,
it.
you don't need that. You don't need to be that. I'm telling you. You have the cred, the
Well,
street cred. You're so fun to talk
well,
to, and you're
thank you.
humble, and that's what makes you cool.
Well, I think one of the biggest moments for me that helped me kind of feel like I belonged here
Mhm.
was when my first hit happened, and an artist named Sarah Evans in the country realm
Yes,
recorded
I
a
know the
song.
song.
Yes.
I know the song. That's immediately I
Yes.
was told I immediately texted one of my friends. I was like, "Guess who I'm
Oh,
interviewing?"
very cool.
Saints and
Yes.
Angels. I know it. I love it.
Yes.
Grew up on it.
And that was one that I wrote by myself, and it was just, it was pitched to Sarah, and she loved it, and she recorded it, and it was about a good year or more before it actually went out onto the
Mhm.
radio. But when it did, I had been living on this, songwriting draw that's like 12 grand a year. It's
Right?
like that's all you get.
That's
It's like
crazy.
trying to figure out how to do this. And so I had racked up all these credit card
Yep.
bills, and I still
Yep.
had my student loans and all this stuff. And so when I first heard that song, I heard it on the radio in my car, that I had to start by shorting the starter out with a beer can.
Oh my gosh.
And
This
I
is a
was
great story. We need a movie about
I know,
you.
right? So I was driving this car, and the song comes on, and I turned it up as loud as it would go, and I was like, "Oh my god," and
Were
I'm
you
driving
just
down the
like
high it was so surreal. And then about halfway through the song, I realized how fast I was going because there were blue
oh
lights in my rearview mirror.
no.
And so I pulled over to the shoulder of the road, roll the window down, the officer comes up to the window, and the song's still playing because 'cause I'm not gonna turn it off. I'm like, "That's my song! Oh my god, that's my song!" And he just looks at me and he goes, "License and registration, please, ma'am."
He wasn't
He did
even
not care one bit. He gets that excuse all the time, I'm sure, or else maybe my song beat his song out for the record.
Well, is this was in Nashville?
But yes, this
He's
was in
probably used to
Nashville.
pulling y'all
Yes.
over.
Yeah, probably so.
Oh my gosh, but no,
So
I would think he would. I wish that story was gonna go the other
I
way.
know, right?
Like,
But then there is more to the story.
okay.
There is more because after that, so he sent me to traffic school, but thanks to Sarah Evans, I could pay for it, and I bought a car that started with a key, and life got a lot
Yes,
better.
yes.
Um, but about a week later was actually 9/11, when
Mhm,
the planes hit the towers in
mhm.
9/11, and there was a really strange moment when it was like all the music that had been climbing the charts just kind of stopped. Nobody knew what to play. Everything seemed
Right.
wrong. There was like nothing. We were like, I'm sure radio programmers were flummoxed on
Mhm,
what to play. And I remember thinking at the time, probably never going to hear my song again because it has nothing to do with what's going on out
mhm.
there. And it's just a song that was written about romantic love at my wise old age of 23. Um, but about a week later, I turned the radio on and the song was playing again, but this time it was a new version of it. And they had replaced Sarah Evans' voice in the second verse with sound bites from the first responders at 9
Oh,
11.
wow.
And I heard this song. This was the
That gave me
moment. This was the
chills.
moment. This was
Okay.
my moment because I felt this thing. I felt like all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I'm a part of something bigger than I thought. I'm doing something bigger than I thought. I thought this was me and my guitar in my room.
Mhm,
It's not that. There's something more to it, and it
mhm,
can be something more than you even realize. And when you're
mhm,
doing it right, you're just holding the pen for something you don't understand, you
mhm,
know? And that was when I kind of realized, first of all, the importance of being a songwriter, what
mhm,
it can do,
mhm.
but also like I need to trust in this journey a little bit
Right,
more. I need to white knuckle it a little bit less and
right.
just, believe in whatever this is that's at
Mhm.
work, you
'Cause it's
know?
bigger than you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, I love that
Yeah.
so much. Like, on a much smaller level with my podcast,
Yeah.
I, kind of felt the same way because initially, I was doing it for me because I needed a creative outlet. I
Mhm.
was turning 40. So, yeah, I was doing it for myself because I was like, "Okay, I have background in, performing, I have background in writing,"
Mhm.
and so those are my arts and kind of all meshed together with
Yeah.
this podcasting. And then I kind of found out I was a pretty good interviewer and like good at just matching energies and making
Mhm.
people feel comfortable, yada yada. And then like it turned into this community
Mm.
where people were messaging me like, "Hey, I listened to this episode. Thank you so much
Mm.
for because I recently did a one about OCD." And my niece, actually soon to be niece, reached out to me and she's like, "You don't know how much that meant to me." And that's a moment I realized like, okay, this is big, not this is not bigger than me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I've created this community for other people to,
Yeah.
lean on. And so,
I love that.
uh,
And it's all about vulnerability too. It's
right.
like when you share the truth about what you're going through,
Mhm.
other people will realize they're not alone in
Yes.
whatever that is.
And
So,
normalizing it
yes.
and talking to
Absolutely.
while talking about it.
There were so many things. I mean, I'm a child of the '70s, so older, but there were so many things growing up that you did not talk about.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad that that's changing
Mhm.
now. I
Mhm.
think it's really
Yes.
important. And I'm, raising daughters, and I think about how they're going to grow up so differently from how I grew up. And
Mhm.
even things like body image,
Mhm.
I look
Absolutely.
at my daughter and I see how she looks at herself in the mirror and she loves her body,
Yes.
and I'm like, I don't think I ever had that
I
experience,
know. Mhm.
but also looking at the media that we consumed, it was a very different story back
It
then.
was.
So, yeah, but I love that. I love what you're doing here. It's so
No,
great.
thank you. What drew you specifically to songwriting as opposed to maybe performing,
That's a great
producing?
question. I do sing. I think that I've never had the burning desire to be in the spotlight.
Okay.
I think that what I love is working with people and solving the puzzle.
Yes.
I love solving the puzzle and, like, creating something.
Mhm.
I love solving the puzzle alone, but I've grown to figure out how to do it with other people and
Mhm.
love that too.
Mhm.
Um, and a big step into that was just really learning the dare to suck. Like, that's my slogan. I
I
carry it with
love
me
that.
everywhere. It's like, because when you get in a room with somebody and you're trying to create a song, if you're not gonna dare to suck, then you might as well just leave, you know?
Right.
It's if you have to put thoughts out there that are unfinished and imperfect, and you don't even know what they are yet, but you have to speak them
Yes.
out loud in order to create something together.
Yes.
And so I love that process, and it also really connects you with other people. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of similar to you, where I really love other people's energy and
Mhm.
feeling that and matching that and
Mhm.
kind of seeing what we can do together.
Mhm.
So I think that's why I love that so much. I did do the artist thing for a while.
Yes.
I released a few records on
Mhm.
my own. It was kind of funny. The whole thing I sort of fell into sideways. I
Sounds right
yeah.
for your
Well,
story.
yes. Yeah, I went through a divorce early on,
Mm,
and it
girl, same.
was, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was absolutely devastating
Mhm.
and so good for my art.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
so many ideas. It's like, oh, you just
Yes.
bleed them out onto the page. It's everywhere.
Yes.
So anyhow, I wrote all this material through that that really meant a lot to me, but
Mhm.
it wasn't necessarily getting recorded by other people
Right.
because it was more my story. And so I decided, well, I guess I better make a recording of my own, make a
Mhm.
record.
Mhm.
So
And you
I
happen to have a beautiful voice,
well, I was
and
like,
you
oh,
happen to
I
know how
didn't
to.
feel like I had. I mean, had a classical music voice, but I
Mhm.
didn't feel like I had like the contemporary music voice.
Mhm.
But it's funny, like it's a muscle you exercise. The more you do
Right.
it, the kind of better it gets in
Right.
that area.
Right.
So, I made a record, and I kind of knew how to do that because part of my job as a songwriter was to create demos. So I would go into the studio and make demos with the
Right.
musicians and
Right.
sing them or hire somebody else to sometimes. But I ended up making my record, my first record that way, and then it fell into the hands of a Canadian record label. And somebody just called me out of the blue and they were like, this is really great stuff. And they need to have a certain amount of Canadian content on the air up there. They have a certain
Interesting.
percentage in order to
Interesting.
sort of protect the identity.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would all be American all the
Right, right.
time.
Well,
So
Celine
they're like,
Dion,
let's,
except for
yeah,
Celine
yeah,
Dion.
right. So they're like, how can we not get
Shania Twain.
swallowed up in the elephant who's the mouse on the back of the elephant, you know?
Yes.
So they had this requirement, so they're always looking for something that is done by Canadians, but at the quality level of Nashville, you
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
quality songwriting and recording. And so they reached out to me and they were like, "Hey, would you like to have a record deal?" And I was like, "Sure."
Yeah,
So, okay.
absolutely.
All right. And so next thing I knew, I had this big agent, and the agent was putting me on as the opener coast to coast with Reba McEntire. So I went across Canada opening
Stop.
for Reba and Winona Judd and Randy Travis and Lone Star and a huge Canadian artist named Johnny Reed. And it was crazy because I had never done anything for an audience that size. Like I had played the Bluebird Cafe, which
Right,
is like 90 people,
right.
and that was it. Like I'd never played
And now
anything
you're,
bigger
like,
than
on
that.
a
So I went in 4 days. I was like, "Okay, now I'm gonna go play for 10,000
oh
people."
my
And
gosh, what
I've
did
got
that feel like?
it was this biggest exercise in mind control
Right.
I've ever had to deal with, because your mind in those situations starts to tell you a story about you not deserving it,
Mhm,
not
mhm.
knowing what you're doing.
For mi miss
Yeah,
forgetting your lyrics, all the
absolutely,
things.
absolutely. It tells you you're gonna probably mess up. They're gonna
Mhm.
hate you. No, they'll throw
They're gonna
tomatoes at you, whatever it
boo.
is, right? It's gonna try to tell you that. And I kind of realized that half of the battle or more than half the battle in that situation is to shut that up.
Mhm.
So I just kind of did this mantra of, I'm great. I know what I'm doing. This is awesome. They're
Yes.
going to love me. Just, I can't wait to show them my songs. You know, it was like,
Yes.
so whenever it tried to go, you're probably going to forget, I'd be like, shut up. I'm
I
great. You know,
I love
so I was
that.
kind of doing that internally, and somehow it worked. Like I went out on stage and I still played played songs and told the stories the way I did at the Bluebird, and it worked.
Oh my
So
gosh,
and
how
and
cool.
Reba was fantastic. She was so sweet, and she had me, duet with her on "Does He Love You?"
Oh my gosh. See,
So,
I
it
didn't even
was so
know that
cool.
part about you, that
It
you
was
would
so
do it on
cool.
the tour with her and
Yeah.
them and all the
It was awesome. Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
that's really
So I got
cool.
a taste of that, and I loved it, but I still missed it's a different energy
Mhm,
when you're performing.
mhm,
It's a very big energy, and I missed the internal feeling of
mhm, and, like,
songwriting.
the intimate moments
Yeah,
of
and I still continued to do it, but then I became a mom, and I was out on the road playing shows in different states when both of my girls learned how to walk. and I was texted videos of that.
Ah.
And then I was like, no, this is not the kind of mom that I want to be. I
Mhm.
want to be present. I want to be
Mhm.
home. So that was really the moment when I kind of shifted back into, I had always been writing songs for other people all
Mhm.
those years, but I shifted back into that being my full-time thing plus teaching now
Mhm.
too.
That's
So,
cool.
yeah.
I bet you're a great teacher.
Well, I love doing it. I don't know, you have to ask my students, but
No,
I
I can
love
just
teaching.
tell. I feel like you're teaching me right now, everything. You've written songs for so many artists. When you sit down to write, are you chasing the truth, melody, story, or hook?
Oh,
Like what
that is
leads?
a good question. What leads? The truth, melody, story, or a hook? All of the above.
Okay.
Um, every circumstance calls for a different thing.
Okay.
So,
I understand that.
yeah, it just depends on what the end game is or the end goal is for the situation that I'm in on any given day. So I love going into a room and just writing something hooky because you want something for the radio or something
Mhm.
for a commercial or
Mhm.
whatever you want. I love the challenge of doing that.
Mhm.
But there have been a lot of moments in my life when I've walked into the room and written the truth, and the truth has not necessarily been compatible with what would play on the radio.
Right.
And yet, it's been some of the most important songs in my life.
Right.
And those were some of the songs that got me to the Grammys a couple times.
Mhm.
And, so I remember the day that I wrote, there's a song called What Are You Gonna Tell Her that I
Mhm.
wrote with Mickey Guyton. And
Mhm.
it was actually 4 women in the room. It was Mickey Guyton, Karen Kozowski, Emily, and me. And the 4 of us had never written together before.
Mhm.
We had in different combinations. But it was at a time when Mickey had been dealing with the fact that she had been, for quite a while, almost a decade, she had been the only Black woman on a major label country record deal in
Wow.
all those years. Nobody else.
Wow.
And she had really struggled to just get the full support of
Mhm.
everybody on the label in terms of like what are we going to put out as a single and
Mhm.
what are we going to put all our money and our energy behind,
Mhm.
because everything got second guessed a lot. It was like,
Right.
well, if you release this, they're going to think you're not country, or if you release this, they're not going to believe you're that country, or it's like there's all this. There
Yes.
was a lot of second guessing going on, and so she had become really frustrated with that and with seeing the doors closed to her in a lot of ways that were open to a lot of the men that she moved to town at the same time as.
Mhm.
And so there's a major issue in country music where country radio has, for a long time, has curated their playlists so that there are not very many women on them.
Mhm.
Purposefully, they don't play 2 women back to back. I hope that's changing.
Still? I was gonna say, is
I
it
think it's
still?
changing, but it has been for a long time. It's been
I
that
had
way.
no idea.
Yeah, so there was a famous quote by a radio programmer that said, the program in country radio is like a salad. The men are the lettuce, the women are the tomatoes. You don't want 2 tomatoes next to each other.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so and it really was that way. It was like, "Okay, we've got Carrie Underwood on our playlist. Check. Women are done. Now who else?" It's
Oh
like there
my
aren't gonna be any other women.
gosh.
So and it trickled over into Canada too. When I was touring, there was a lot of times when I did radio visits and they would say, "We love your single, but we've already got Carrie Underwood on our playlist, so we can't add another woman." It was really, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yikes.
So coming through that environment and watching so many men have all these opportunities,
Mhm.
and male songwriters have these opportunities because they
Mhm.
have artists to write for,
Right.
and uh, so we were all pretty frustrated at that point.
Yes.
And I think Mickey was getting ready to leave the business
Mhm.
completely, and I kind of had the same idea.
Mhm.
And so I remember that day Mickey looked at me and said, my daughter was really young, and she said, "Victoria, you've got a daughter. So what are you going to tell her about the world? Are you going to tell her that it's not fair? Are you going to warn her that? Or are you just going to let her grow up and experience that it's not fair and get her heart broken?
How
Which one?"
powerful.
And
How
then we
powerful.
were like, "Oh." And then so I remember the Emily and Karen Kozowski were like, "Girls, we got to write that song. Well, that needs to
Mhm.
be our song today."
Mhm.
And we had this moment of, there's a crossroads. This way leads over to the radio, maybe. We're
Right.
not going there. I
Right.
guess we're going this way. I don't know where
Yes.
this one goes.
Yes.
And so we wrote this song, and it's probably the song I'm the most proud of in my life. That was about what you tell your daughter,
My
and
gosh.
so
Tell me the name of it again.
it's called "What Are You Gonna Tell
Oh,
Her?"
the what duh.
Yeah, so
Easy. What are you
basically,
gonna
yeah,
tell
we
her?
just used what was said. So it's basically saying, she thinks that life is fair, and she thinks that her friend's older brother is gonna keep his hands to himself,
Oh my
and she thinks that
gosh.
somebody's gonna believe her when she tells,
Oh
and she
my
thinks that
gosh.
one day when she grows up, maybe she could be the president, Do you let her think that and hope that we get there faster?
Mhm.
And, all these things about what are you gonna tell her when she's wrong?
That's
That kind
so
of thing.
powerful.
So it ended up that song became the first song ever performed by a Black woman on the 55 years of Academy of Country Music
Oh my
Awards history, and she
gosh.
played it and backed up by Keith Urban.
Oh my
And it
gosh. I
was
have
it
chills.
was it was during COVID, and I sat on the couch in my pajamas, and my girls did my hair. It was all like pigtails, and I had
Oh my
lipstick like they did my
gosh.
my makeup.
Yes.
And, yeah, we
How
dressed up for the occasion and we
cool.
watched it, and
Oh
it
my
was really cool,
gosh.
and then we ended up going to the Grammys too based on that
That's
record.
amazing.
So,
And to be able to share that with them forever and
yeah.
being like, this is for essentially I did this for you
Yeah.
guys. And I can't wait to go home and show it to my daughter.
Yes! Well,
Yes.
y and telling the truth is not easy.
You
It is
know,
not easy.
and she's 9 and we've started having kind of those conversations like especially when um Kamala was running,
Mhm.
and I was like, "This is a
A
huge
huge
deal."
deal.
Like, she's
Yeah.
like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "This has never happened
Yeah.
before," and just trying to like and she just didn't quite grasp the
Yeah.
concept of that, or even oh gosh, it was something the other day about voting. I was
Yeah.
like, "Did you know women
It
used to
was
not
not
be
that
able to
it was
vote?"
not that long
She
ago that
goes,
we
"What do
couldn't
you
vote,
mean?"
and not that long ago that we couldn't have bank accounts of our own
That's
either. I
insane.
don't know when that was. I think it was the 1970s when
That,
we finally got to have our own bank accounts.
that's insane.
Yeah, really recently. More recently than you would think.
Well,
So,
she couldn't even fathom it.
yeah.
But, like, how
But that's such
lucky.
a good thing, right?
Yes, how
Such a
lucky.
good thing. It shows how
Yes.
far we've come.
I love us.
Yes.
Go women.
That's right. I got my
Women power.
girls just want to have fundamental human rights.
I have that shirt.
Do you
I swear to God, I have that shirt. I have that shirt.
really?
I have that
It's a good
shirt.
shirt.
When you're writing a song that's just for something specific, is it hard not to want to take a hold of it?
Mm,
Or can you just kind of
yes.
like block it? You're like, this is not for that.
So when you walk into a songwriting room, especially with an artist that's not you,
Hmm.
which I'm doing a lot of the time, it no longer becomes about writing the best song you think you can write that day,
Okay.
period. It becomes about writing the best song that you can write based on what that artist wants to say,
Okay.
based on what's going on, or what's called for, what the label wants,
Hmm.
whatever that is. So you learn really quickly to sort of have an open hand about
That
things.
makes sense.
And even though you think of, oh man, this would be the perfect line or the perfect rhyme, if they're not into it, you got to throw it out.
Doesn't matter. And you can't get your feelings
Yeah,
hurt.
you
You
can't
can't,
get your
it's not
feelings hurt.
personal.
And so I've really become like I've become good at just holding on to the idea that there's always more where that came from,
Hmm.
and just trusting there's always going to be more. It's that trust fall, right?
Right.
It's like that. There's always that trust
Right.
fall. So no matter how brilliant this seems to me, there'll be something else, and I've been that's come true so many
Hmm.
times. It's really fun when you're in the room and you see what happens with different brains put together, and
Hmm.
different it's not just brains, it's like souls put
Hmm.
together, and what that creates. So there have been a lot of times when I've walked into a collaboration and I've had a certain sort of idea in my mind, and then someone else will walk in and they'll have like the same idea,
Hmm.
or something really similar, or something melodically similar.
Hmm.
And it's just sometimes it just feels like, did you just did you just pull that off me? Was I wearing it
I
somewhere?
know.
Like
Like,
what?
are we reading
Yeah,
each other's minds?
yeah.
Like,
I love that. There's definitely like an alchemy to it.
I love
And
that.
so just trusting that process and allowing yourself to fall into the process and serving the song, whatever the song is
Right.
calling for, is really, really the thing. It's really, you kind of just get your ego out of the way.
Right.
If you bring your ego into the room, it's going to get its ass kicked,
Right.
you know?
I love that.
So it really is. So you just got to sort of let go of that and just go with the song and and I love that. It's a humbling thing, but there's something humbling about the whole thing anyway,
Mhm.
and the fact that you are just the songwriter underneath, you're handing it off to someone else to have the
Right.
glory.
Just the songwriter.
Yeah, you
There'd
know?
be no song. What
Yeah.
there'd be
Yeah.
no there'd be
It's
no
all built on, they say it all begins with a song, but before that, even it all begins with a songwriter.
I
And
know.
but it's also tough because we're not paid accordingly, unfortunately, in this industry. We still earn quite a bit from radio, which is great, but having those radio hits are few and far
Mhm,
between,
mhm,
especially if you're a woman in country music.
mhm.
Um, so, uh, having songs released on streaming platforms really pays us so little that it might as well not pay us at all.
That is
So
crazy.
it's really become for me an exercise in pivoting and figuring out where the value is in
Mhm,
my skill set.
mhm,
So I'll write for specific challenges.
mhm.
There's something that needs to be for film or TV or whatever we're looking for, some kind of, a song to represent a certain charity or
Right.
whatever it might be. So I'll do that, but I'll also do things like work with corporations and
Mhm,
have a whole bunch of accountants come into the room and walk them through the process of writing a song in
mhm,
an hour and show them you are in fact creative
mhm.
if you just trust the process
Right.
and I'll ask the right questions and here we go. There's a song.
That's cool.
So I love doing that. I've done that with so many corporations at this point.
That's
It's a
cool.
real blast doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. What has becoming a mom changed the way you write songs or if at all?
Mm. Being a mom is you can't even summarize it in words.
I know. I
How do
know,
you even
girl. I know, girl.
it's so much freaking work. It's
Yes.
so much work. It is the hardest thing I've ever done in my
It's
life,
a 24/7 job.
24/7 relentlessly.
Mhm.
And the level of responsibility
Mhm.
that you have and the level of fear and anxiety that it
Mm.
brings into your life and all of those things that that I didn't care about before, now I really do.
I know.
And so but it's also like it cracks your heart open in this way. If you want to know love, I think you have to be a parent or, experience loving a child and raising a child in some
Mhm.
way because it's nothing compares to that.
Mhm.
And it's the fear and the anxiety and the love all mixed in together that's
Right.
what makes it magic.
Right.
Actually wrote a song about that called Scary Love. It's a
Oh,
Mickey Guyton song. It's a
cool.
scary kind of love being
Uh-huh.
a parent. Um, but it definitely so it's made me a better songwriter just for that reason.
Mhm.
There's so much more to my soul than there was
Right.
before.
Right.
There's so much more to the depths of how I feel things and how much I care about things. Um, but it's also made it really hard in some ways because practically, it's a lot less time to be able
Mhm.
to spend on my career.
Mhm.
And let's face it, I'm going to be spending a lot less time on my career than dude over here, even if his wife is taking care of the baby at home,
Exactly.
whatever that looks like.
Exactly.
So I definitely feel the lack of preparation time
Mhm.
because I can carve out the time to get in the room and do the co-writing,
Right.
but it's the time prior to that that's equally as important, if not more important.
Mhm.
All the preparation that you do, like, learning who the artist is and
Mhm.
figuring out what ideas you can bring to the
Mhm.
table. And those are the things that I would previous to being a mom, I would have done those in the middle of the night, stayed up until 2 in the morning,
Right.
or rolled out of bed at 5:30,
Right.
whatever. And now it's like my career is very sort of 9 to 5, and
Mhm.
then it's like, okay, now I'm home and I'm taking care of them, and my husband's great. He does so much work too. We're
Good.
pretty much
Good.
50-50, and he does all
Good.
the cooking, I do the cleaning. He's
Good.
Italian, you can let him do the cooking.
Good. I'm
So,
happy
yeah.
for
Oh,
you.
yeah, so much equality there,
So
which is
that I
amazing.
was gonna
Yeah.
ask you about your support
Yeah.
system, like
But still for both of us, I mean, he's exhausted too,
Mhm.
right? So it's like it's like you step out of your job into another job
Exactly.
that starts after school and goes all the way till school
Yes,
starts
there's
again.
never time. And then
Yeah,
you're so tired. You're like,
yeah,
I need me time. I need
yeah,
to,
right.
just chill. But then you're so tired
Yeah,
you
you're
can't.
so tired. Well, I know one time we hired a nanny because my husband and I wanted to go away somewhere, and we were paying them, and we realized you get paid like $25 an hour to take care of them while they sleep. Like,
Right.
that is how much it's worth.
Right.
That's the what the responsibility is worth.
Hmm.
That's when you're not even doing anything and they're asleep.
Yeah, they're
That's
literally
still
asleep.
$25 an hour, you know?
Yes.
So it's just it's a lot, and it's a
Hmm.
lot to balance. So I had to become really good at time management,
Yes.
and I had to say no. I had to learn to
Learn
say
to
no
say
to a lot
no.
of things and trust that it's okay to say no. Like
Hmm.
the whole FOMO thing, I
Hmm.
just have to be okay with
Yes.
what happens, and trust that if I keep putting my heart into it in the way that I want to, that it'll find its way into whatever it needs to
Yes.
be, you know? I think about my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I was not. I think I was a better mom because I got to work.
Hmm.
I think I was a better mom because I got to do what my other passion is besides being their
Yes.
mom. And then
Yes.
I got to come home happy and
So
satisfied and on fire for
self-fulfilled.
something. And I think they can sense that and they can see it, and hopefully, whatever emotions they have about me not being there in certain moments would be replaced by a sense of pride eventually in
Yes,
knowing
I
that I
agree.
was
It
doing
definitely
something.
will. It
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
will. And
Yeah.
they'll look up to you and they'll remember that when they're moms.
Yeah.
And then hopefully the cycle of greatness
Yeah.
just continues.
But the whole idea of balance, it's just bull.
I know. You
There's
just
no such thing.
I know.
Yeah, we can't balance it all. You just gotta pick what you care about and go with that, I
Mhm.
guess.
And some
Yeah.
days it's gonna be this, some days it's gonna be
Yeah, it's
that.
a constantly moving thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that. Are you ready for our hot seat segment?
Okay, it's feeling hot, but I'll do
Okay,
it.
it's gonna be
Okay.
fast. You have to
Okay.
answer fast.
Okay.
Song lyrics first or melody first?
I usually song lyrics first, find the melody in the lyric for me.
One artist you'd love to write a song for.
Carrie Underwood.
3 words that make a great country song.
I am lonely. That sucked. I'm a songwriter, people. I'm so good at
Grammy nominated.
it. Grammy not, that's why I get the Grammy. Well, that's why I didn't get the Grammy.
I
Nominated means I
am
lost.
lonely. Hey, nominated is nominated. One thing people would be surprised to know about you.
I can change a timing belt in a car.
Ooh. Your favorite thing about Nashville?
The people, the songwriters.
Who would
Those
play you in a movie?
Helen Hunt, maybe.
I love it. Studio or stage?
Studio. I
Go-
like studio.
Go-to karaoke song.
Hey, yeah, yeah.
I say,
Hey, yeah, yeah. I say, hey, what's going on?
Perfect. Something you can't live without.
Lip,
Material.
lip gloss.
Okay.
Because I would, if I went on Survivor and I didn't have that, I would die. I think I would literally
don't-
like curl up around.
I don't
shrivel up
think-
around my mouth and then disappear into it.
If I wasn't even thinking like on a deserted island, but like no, you don't. You need water.
Oh, is that what I'm doing wrong?
Lip gloss, because my lips would get really chapped,
So
and I
chapped.
can't.
I can't do it. I can't stand it.
I can't do it anymore. One word your friends would use to describe you.
Happy.
I love that. I think you're very happy
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for being on my
Thanks
show.
for having me.
This is seriously, this has been so fun and so easy, and I feel like I've just made a new friend.
Yes.
And I hope we can like stay connected somehow. And
I'll have to send you more women
yes,
for your interviews.
please
I
do.
can send you some.
Please do. Send
I
all
got
the
some
women.
great ones. I got
Send
some good
all the
ones.
women.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching the Mommy Artist podcast. Remember that you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people, and that everyone out there is doing their best. Love you. Bye. All right, besties, my glass is empty, but my cup is full, and that means it's the end of the episode. Remember that you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people, and that everyone out there is trying their best. Love you. Bye. You can find the Mommy Artist podcast on YouTube to watch the full video. Give it a like, hit subscribe, and come back next week for more iconic chaos and creative magic. But no worries if not.